Ever feel like your work life could use like a little,
A little boost.
yeah, a reboot?
Yeah.
Not just working more, but like working smarter
Right.
with more purpose, you know?
Right.
So that's what we're diving into today. This
Mm.
whole idea of like building a really strong work ethic.
Yeah.
Um, and this guide that we're looking at breaks it down into 5 key areas.
Yeah, think of it as like we're upgrading our operating system, you know? Like getting rid of those old habits that are really holding us back. And the best part is that this applies no matter what your career is or what you do,
Oh, I love that.
right?
The analogy of like upgrading your operating system.
Yeah.
Because it really is, it's like you can have all the best software in the world, but if you're still running on like Windows 95,
Exactly.
it's not
It's not going to work.
it's not going to work as well. So the first thing that this guide stresses is setting high standards,
Oh, okay.
which seems kind of obvious at first, right?
Right.
But they're talking about bringing that A game to everything,
Everything.
not just the tasks that come with like a gold star or a bonus or whatever.
Exactly. And it's about that intrinsic motivation, the satisfaction of a job well done, even if you're the only one that notices.
Right.
You know, Michelangelo, he talked about agonizing over every detail of his sculptures.
Oh, wow.
And he believed that he was releasing the angel within the marble.
Wow.
So just imagine if we brought that same intensity and that same dedication to even the smallest tasks. What could we accomplish?
That's another level.
Yeah,
I mean, that's some serious dedication right there.
it is.
But how do we get there?
Right.
Because that's, easier said than done.
Of course.
The guide then gets into this distinction between commitment and discipline,
Okay.
which I feel like these are 2 words that get thrown around a lot interchangeably.
Yeah, and for good reason. They are really closely linked.
Yeah.
Commitment is the big picture.
Okay.
It's the why.
Yep.
Discipline is how we get it done. It's the everyday grind.
Okay.
Like if you're training for a marathon, committing to the race, that's exciting.
Right.
But discipline, that's what gets you out of bed at 5 a.m. to go for that run.
Every single day.
Every single day, rain or shine.
Rain or shine. Okay, that's
discipline.
yeah, that hits home for me
Yeah.
as someone who's very familiar with the snooze button.
Sure.
Do you have any tips for building that discipline muscle? Asking for a friend, obviously.
We've all been there.
Right.
I would say for me, time blocking has been huge.
Time block.
Yes, instead of letting the day run away from you,
Okay.
you schedule it out.
Yeah.
You dedicate specific blocks of time to focused work.
Almost like making an appointment
Exactly.
with your own productivity.
Yes.
Like that.
Yeah.
And speaking of taking charge,
Yes.
the next part of the guide talks about taking responsibility,
Okay.
which is not always easy,
It's not.
especially when it comes to owning up to our mistakes.
Sure, but think about it this way. Every mistake is just a plot twist in your career story.
Okay.
It might sting in the moment,
Right.
but ultimately it makes you more interesting,
That's true.
more resilient. And it's all about reframing it, adopting that growth mindset and seeing those quote unquote failures as opportunities to learn and grow.
It's so true.
Yeah.
It's all about how you look at it. So practically speaking, how can we apply this growth mindset? Like, let's say a project doesn't go as planned. What's our next move?
I am a big believer in the power of an after-action review.
Okay.
So take a few minutes to reflect on what went well, what could have been done differently.
Okay.
And this helps you extract these valuable lessons from both your successes and those plot twists.
Yeah.
So you can use them as fuel for the future.
I love that I'm all about extracting those lessons.
Yes.
Okay. Last but not least, the guide talks about this idea of continuous improvement
Okay.
over this like elusive idea of chasing perfection,
Right.
which makes sense in a world that's constantly evolving.
Absolutely. In today's world, clinging to perfection, it's like trying to hit a moving target. What matters is embracing lifelong learning, constantly seeking out ways to refine our skills and stay ahead of the curve.
Yes, 100%.
Yeah.
Because what's that quote? Like the only constant is change.
Exactly.
So do you have any advice for listeners who are maybe thinking like, okay, this all sounds great, but how do I actually start doing this? How do I dip my toes into this continuous improvement world?
Well, first, I would say think about your specific field.
Okay.
What skills are becoming increasingly important?
Okay.
And then there are a wealth of online courses out there. Platforms like Coursera, Udemy, Skillshare, they offer so many incredible options.
So many.
And don't underestimate the power of mentorship.
Oh, yeah.
Finding someone who's a little further down the road than you and is willing to share their wisdom and experience, that can be invaluable.
Mentorship is so underrated.
It really is.
So it seems like all of these elements, while distinct, they're also super interconnected.
Yeah.
Would you say that building a stronger work ethic is not about mastering one specific skill? It's more like this holistic thing.
It's like training a muscle.
Okay.
You wouldn't just focus on one exercise.
Right.
You would work different muscle groups to build overall strength and resilience.
So it's about finding that balance.
Exactly.
Well, I think that's a perfect place to wrap up.
Wonderful.
But I want to leave our listeners with a little bit of homework.
Okay.
If your work ethic were a muscle,
Okay.
how would you start training it today?
I love it.
What small action can you take
Yes.
to flex that growth mindset?
Amazing.
Because even those seemingly small actions, when done consistently,
Yes.
lead to incredible results over time.
They do.
So thank you so much for this deep dive. It's been so insightful.
Thank you for having me.
And for our listeners, we'll see you in the next episode.
Bye for now.